Hello and welcome to another unit analysis, where today we'll be covering Corrin. Oh, my apologies, I meant the good Corrin. I'll be talking about female Corrin, what are the reasons why she places on tier list where she does, what her best builds are, this time also featuring a budget build, and my opinion on the character as it is. So first of all, let's see where she places on tier lists. Gamepedia puts her in S tier alongside Ninian, and GamePress puts her in the second highest tier, again alongside Ninian. A very synonymous placement. Placing Manakeets on tier lists is always somewhat difficult since there are so few of them. Right now there are only 3 blue Manakeets and only 8 in total. However, in those 8 Manakeets, Corrin has a few things that make her stick out. First of all, sadly, her base set total of 157. For whatever reason, Corrin was not lucky enough to receive the additional base stat boost that a lot of other Manakeets had. What exactly they base stat boost on is something that I still don't know. Young Tiki has more base stat than adult Tiki, so apparently dragons get weaker as they get older? Yet now he gets a base stat boost even though she is thousands of years old. In fact, Corrin is with roughly 18 years probably even the youngest Manakeet. Whatever may be the reason though, it's fair to say that Corrin got dropped a few base stat points. Her HP of 41 is rather low for a Manakeet, but that works out actually quite in our favor. HP is the least important stat and Corrin has to spend her base stat total well. Her attack of 27 is probably her biggest detriment. With 27 attack, Corrin hits the weakest out of all dragons except for Ninian, who is a dancer. This makes Corrin very reliant on her special to do damage. On the other hand, her speed of 34 is the highest out of all Manakeets. This allows Corrin to pull off some speedier builds, which other dragons despite all of their base set total aren't able to. Her defense of 34 is also quite remarkable, allowing her to withstand physical damage even better than Naui, and also giving her out of all dragons the best chance at taking on Falchion users. Her resistance of 21 is the lowest out of all dragons and it's the lowest by a mile at that. However, this doesn't mean that she won't be able to take on mages. With her speed, resistance and HP, she is almost identical to Ryoma. And Ryoma does a pretty decent job at using that disencounter of him against mages. Now, as dumb as this might sound, her strongest set is still under pretty much any circumstances the set that almost all dragons except for Mir can run, which is her Steady Breath set. For your weapon you will want to run Lightning Breath Plus. Lightning Breath is excellent for any enemy phase build since it grants us disencounter without using up our A slot. We will refine this breath. How do you even refine a breath in a forge, by the way? With an attack plus refinement, because even though our speed is the best out of all Manakeets, we won't be needing it for this build. Keep in mind though that Lightning Breath increases our special charge by 1. As A slot we run the aforementioned Steady Breath. Steady Breath is a ridiculous skill during enemy phase, as it will charge our special by 2 whenever we or our opponent attacks, as long as our opponent initiates the combat. Also it grants 4 defense, but who even cares, we need that special charge. Now with Steady Breath, this means that after 2 attacks, we would be able to use whatever 4 charge special we want. However, if you remember correctly, our special counter is increased because of Lightning Breath. So that means normal 4 charge specials are now 5 charge specials, and 3 charge specials are 4 charge specials. If you were slow enough that our opponent would reliably double us, we could in fact even go for a now 6 charge special like Ether. But Corrin is quite the opposite. She is rather fast, so our most reliable option for our special is Bonfire. As for our B slot, we will be running Quick Riposte. Corrin's speed of 34 is quite nice, but you won't be doubling faster units with it. Quick Riposte will guarantee that we double our opponent as well as activating Bonfire. For your C slot you can run any buff skill of your choice, including dragon buffs if you plan to run it in a dragon emblem, but outside of it your best option is probably Threaten Resistance to get a bit more damage in. As for the seal, you will want to run either Distant Defense or Close Defense. Distant Defense tends to round out her build a bit more, however on the other hand Close Defense can sometimes allow her to take on even Alm with his double line refinement. The best IVs for this build would be plus attack and minus resistance. However, even a speed bane would be fine, since this build doesn't rely on Corrin's speed. You would really like the attack boon though, since it is in fact a super boon for her, meaning that she gains 4 attack instead of 3, and God knows that she can use any point in attack that she can get. This build is the most versatile of her builds, winning the most matchups. Notably would be that this build is a reliable answer to Bravelyn, as well as any other archer, as long as they don't run fire sweep bow. Though to be honest, even to fire sweep bows, this is probably as good of an answer as you will get. However, as I already said, this is the strongest build for pretty much any dragon, and now we can run it better in most regards due to her overall higher stats, except in defense and speed, the latter of which is not utilized in this build at all. This speed, however, is what allows her to use her second build, which is a Windsweep build. In this build we can make use of a nifty little synergy using the very underrepresented Dark Breath that Corrin has. Dark Breath debuffs the opponent as well as anyone in a 2-tile range of the target by -7 attack and -7 speed. That's quite a powerful debuff, but it would require you to attack the opponent first before your weapon does anything for you. However, with the power of Windsweep, our opponent won't be able to counterattack us, meaning that we will be able to apply this debuff for free. It's a nice little synergy and a set that is rather unique to Corrin. For this purpose we want to grab as much speed as we can. Therefore we are going to refine our Dark Breath with plus speed. As for our A slot, we can either again run Steady Breath or Fury. The reason for that is that at the end of the day, this is still an enemy phase set, since we attack our opponent during our turn for some free damage and a debuff, and then finish them off during their turn, when we can actually double our opponent since Windsweep won't be active. Steady Breath would yet again allow us to use a high charge special, and since we most likely will be doubling our opponent, and we don't have the +1 special cooldown from Lightning Breath, we can go for Ignis or Ether. On the other hand, Fury would boost both our attack as well as our speed, which can allow us to outspeed some of the extremely fast units like Era. Against any unit we can outspeed already though, this would lose us a marginal amount of damage as well as health due to the after combat damage from Fury. In the C slot, yet again, every buff of your choosing is possible. However, threat and resistance would be the skill that benefits her most. As for the seal, you will want to run Phantom Speed 3, which increases our speed for Windsweep speed check by 10. This will allow us to pull off Windsweep 100% of the time, and it is very important for this build. As for our boons and banes, ideally we'd have a plus speed minus resistance Corrin, since speed is very important for this build. This build is certainly a bit more niche than the other build, however the ability to get a free shot on units with Windsweep can be pretty damn useful. Depending on the situation, you don't even need to wait for the enemy phase for Corrin to kill the opponent, but you can simply swoop in with another unit to take care of the now debuffed and damaged unit. Very important to know, however, is that Windsweep does not work against other dragons or mages with close counter, so pay attention when choosing your battles. This build is ill-suited in general to fight mages or dragons, so you will definitely need some other unit on your team that can take care of those. Lastly, I'm going to highlight a budget build as well, since even though Steady Breath may be such a great skill for her, most people do not have an infinite supply of Brave Ikes in their barracks, and this skill is good on half the population of Askar. Our budget build will focus on fighting physical melee units, which is why we don't run Lightning Breath but Dark Breath. We also can't really mitigate the increase in our special charge that easy, and we need it to do reliable damage. If you have the refinery stones to refine it, you should refine your breath for either speed or damage. As special you can either go for Moonbow from a 4-star Pala, Odin or Athena, or for Bonfire from a 4-star Adaltiki or Robin. Moonbow will help you win a few more matchups and finish off limping enemies before anyone can fly in with Wings of Mercy, while Bonfire can allow her to finish off tougher enemies that she attacked during her turn. Fury from a 4-star Inada is always a great A slot. It helps us do more damage as well as tank a few more hits. As for the B slot, you would want to go for Swordbreaker from a 4-star, able to cement your role as a reliable check to red units, especially of course swords. In the C slot, you can either keep her Hone attack free or grab yourself Threaten Resistance from a 4-star Naui or a 4-star Ursula for some extra damage. As for a seal, Corrin would appreciate close defense the most, though that doesn't mean she is limited to the enemy phase. For the IVs, a boon in attack would be ideal, since as mentioned earlier, she gains 4 instead of 3 attack from it, and she can really use that extra damage. As for a Bane, as long as it's not in attack or speed, it should work nicely. As mentioned, this build excels at taking on any kind of sword user, however due to her defense and speed, she can bait a wide variety of physical attackers, while also debuffing them and their team to finish them off with your other units during your turn. All in all, I think Corrin is a very interesting unit. Her niche to utilize Dark Breath and Windsweep is kinda fun to play around with, and she can make for a nice free to play unit. Her placement on the tier list, however, mainly stems from her ability to run Lightning Breath plus Steady Breath combo, even though she is probably the weakest user, which is why every other dragon places at least as high as her on the tier list. So if you're looking for a blue dragon, you're probably best off actually using Naui instead of female Corrin, unless you want to give the very specific Windsweep build a spin. Thanks for watching this unit discussion. Do you agree or disagree with my unit analysis, or do you know of some other good builds that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you liked this video and want to see more videos like it, feel free to like the video or subscribe for more videos in the future. Until next time.